So James O'Keefe, he was on the show the other day of now OMG Media, went undercover through one of his staffers, a female staffer, and got this producer for one of their weekend shows on camera. I mean, it's admitting the obvious. We all knew this about MSNBC, but it's still interesting to hear a producer at the network admit it, saying the following. Watch.
So do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Which is why?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes. Yes.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes. They've made their viewers dumber over the years. Viewers get mad at the guests or the hosts if the hosts were to criticize Democrats.
Because they're so brainwashed
Yes.
into thinking that the Democratic Party can do no wrong.
Not that they can't do any wrong. It's maybe they can do wrong. I just don't want to hear about it. Don't say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, it helps Trump. I think brainwashing and dumbing down,
it's bad.
Aggressive,
I get it.
Helps Trump.
Poor Basil Hamden. Pro tip: when your date sounds more like the Inquisitor at a deposition and has her handbag pointed at you just so and asks you to speak into it, a note of caution before you offer your unvarnished thoughts. It was unbelievable. It was like,
yeah, and also,
would you say yes? I would. What'd you say?
And don't drink. Like, don't get so fuzzy that you're sort of like spouting proudly what you're doing. I mean, my favorite part of that clip, Megyn, is when he says we're dumbing our audience down. Like, this is the viewership that likes to feel like they're so high on their own supply of like moral self-righteousness, and that every political position that's espoused by this network is the only true and correct one. And he's basically saying we've dumbed them down and we've brainwashed them, and it's good for us, and it's, like, let's just not get Trump elected. It's and the way he's smiling, he's like, he thinks it's funny. He's kind of proud of it. It seems like, I mean, I could watch that thing on a loop. It's amazing.
This is all I could think of a couple of months ago when they were all indignant about Ronna McDaniel being hired as a contributor after she left the RNC, and they acted like the devil himself had been under contract now to MS. They all went on the air trying to get her fired, which was ultimately successful, talking about themselves and their network like they were Honest Abe themselves. They, like George Washington, we cannot tell a lie here at MSNBC, and we could not possibly hire someone who lies for pay. Remember, we cut this soundbite and I resurrected here.
I want to associate myself with all my colleagues, both at MSNBC and at NBC News, who have voiced loud and principled objections to our company putting on the payroll someone who hasn't just attacked us as journalists, but someone who is part of an ongoing project to get rid of our system of government.
We weren't asked our opinion of the hiring, but if we were, we would have strongly objected to it.
When NBC made the decision to give her NBC News' credibility, you got to ask yourself, what does she bring NBC News?
We welcome Republican voice. I wish more Republicans. I want Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney to get right here and come talk to me. The reality is, this isn't a difference of opinion. She literally backed an illegal scheme to steal an election in the state of Michigan.
And our democracy is in danger because of the lies that people like Ronna McDaniel have pushed on this country.
We've also said election deniers. It's not just they can do that on our airwaves, but that they can do that as one of us, as badge-carrying employees of NBC News, as paid contributors to our sacred airwaves.
Oh, my God. Sacred airwaves. Sacred airwaves with an ID badge, Maureen. That's what really sent Nicole Wallace off the deep end. But this guy, Basil Hamden, gives it up in that clip with James O'Keefe's person.
I mean, does his badge work anymore, do you think? Like, does he get to participate in these sacred airwaves going out across the nation? I mean, by the way, is there anyone more insufferable in this moment, like this side of Sunny Hostin, than Rachel Maddow. It is like she has gone
I'm going to say Nicole Wallace is up there. I'm going to say she's giving her a run for her money.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I don't see her as much as Rachel Maddow's mug is in my face like all the time. And I watching them 2A1, do this sort of public execution of a conservative who, I believe at least when they like fired her before they even got her on the air, at least got all her money. It's just, again, they're telling us who they are. They are at least showing us and telling us
that's their motto.
They are.
That's their motto. This is who we are. And we're like, we know. Yeah, we got it. But to hear him say...
Thanks for stating the obvious, yeah.
Right, but to hear him say, like, we're doing all we can to help the Harris campaign, that we try not to say anything critical of her or it will upset our audience, explains a lot. Like that they're taking Harris campaign messaging and just putting it on the air every day as their news. That explains... SOT 3. Let's play it again. That explains SOT 3.
An interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the right thing to do, support women. When we lift up women, we support women, whether it's pay equity, childcare, family leave, and all these issues that, this post-Dobbs hellscape, women should not be less than.
There's a pop culture phrase, wife guy, which you've kind of been known as. Are you familiar with this?
I've heard about it.
As called a wife guy, a proud wife guy? How do you feel about that?
Well, if I do something annoying to Kamala and she gets upset, I'll just show her that article. Right.
And by the way, Maureen, again, that was after she knew about Nannygate. This was Jen Psaki, the longer SOT that we put in that montage. Watch her talk about her journalism.
Some, mainly in the right-wing ecosystem, have made the comparison to others who have come from government or politics into the media, including me. And that is a comparison I felt like I had to address. I got into public service for the same reason that many people do, to serve the American people. And there are many others who have followed a similar path, who I have a great deal of respect for. But here's the thing. That kind of experience only matters and only has value to viewers, all of you, if it is paired with honesty and with good faith. And our democracy is in danger because of the lies that people like Ronna McDaniel have pushed on this country.
Honesty and good faith.
This is a woman who, while she was Biden's press secretary, and it's worth noting, she asked Obama for that position more than once, and he said no. He didn't think she had what it took. And really what he thought was that she didn't have the warmth or the congeniality to do the job. And we saw that. She would routinely snicker and smirk and roll her eyes and dismiss questions that contradicted the Biden White House's party line. And I feel the same way about George Stephanopoulos. It's always boggled my mind how a news organization, a large one, a major one, at that, can hire somebody whose job was to spin for their bosses. There is a great documentary about White House press secretaries, and like the spine of it is that they all lie. They're lie. They're partisans. And they're partisans, and they get sent out by their boss often to take the bullet. So I don't understand what she's doing in that chair. And if for your audience who might not see that clip but hear it, she's smiling as she's asking these questions. She is grinning from ear to ear. She can barely articulate the words properly. She's like practically levitating out of her chair. She's talking to Doug Emhoff, wife guy, not the guy who knocked up the nanny. And we now know attacked a woman. Are you kidding me?
This is why I call her Dora. I call her Dora. This is my clip. This is Jen Psaki in another form. SOT 7.
To dance the kitty cat dance, we need to scratch our kitty paws, stomp our feet, and wag our kitty tails. We got the mermaid free! Yay!
That's her. And here's another example. Here's the real Jen Psaki, who I'm telling you, once you've seen the Dora thing, you can't unsee it. Here's an example of her hard-hitting, honest, good faith journalism. Stop for.
Also been front and center in talking about abortion rights. Why do you think that's so important? Do you think he's scared of debating her? The other thing I have been thinking about a lot is how it must be for you when you see people attacking your wife. What do you guys do when you have downtime? Now, she's a great cook, loves to cook.
Is.
You've said she's tried to teach you to cook. What can you cook now that she taught you? And you also passed on advice to Gwen Walls. What did you pass along to her?
We're both speechless.
Genucel is back with a stunning end of summer sale. For a limited time, you get the top-selling Genucel Dark Spot Corrector right now to see those dark marks and sunspots disappear right before your eyes. Stephanie from Santa Cruz, California says, love this product. Leaves my skin looking younger, even at my age, she writes. Imagine sunspots, brown spots, discoloration, even red inflamed patches all disappearing in front of your very eyes. The Genucel guarantee, you will see results the very first day, guaranteed, or you will get your money back. Who else gives that? Take advantage of the Genucel most popular package, which also includes the classic Genucel bags and puffiness treatment and immediate effects product, all at close to 70% off. And if you're a new customer, there's a big surprise waiting for you on Genucel.com right now. Just look for the word red. Intriguing. What does it mean? Go to Genucel.com/MK today and start looking younger tomorrow. Genucel.com/MK. Get a free limited edition beauty box with your order. That's GENUCEL.com/MK. Genucel.com/MK. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.